Ах ты жирненькая чайка. Какая ты красивая. Иди поговорим с тобой. В общем, побывать в Порто и не зайти в Феррейру и не попробовать местного вина, это было бы ошибкой. Так что присоединяйтесь, посмотрим вместе экскурсию, попробуем, продегустируем. Вот как выглядит это здание снаружи. Заходим внутрь. Видите, год основания 1751. И вуаля, мы внутри. Свой экскурс я начну с новогодней елки.
So feel free to explore the museum. Here we have several references to Ferreira, the company, and then Ferreira, the family, more specifically Duoro Valley. Over on this side, you will find documents and objects that are linked to the offices of Ferreira, such as the financial offices with calculators, some stamps to authenticate the documents, and over here, some journals. While here, you also have a reference to the administration office. The keys, except now, are typical of the Douro and the Vila Nova de Gaia cellars. And this is because in the past, for us to move the casks around, all of them were rolled. And so to diminish the damage done to the cask, the stone flooring.
And the last time they added wine, it wasn't.
This here is the last time that the wine was tasted.
Oh,
So
tasted.
the 25th of November of 2021. This is a code with which we can reach information about this wine in a database. And by this, I can say that this late bottled vintage is from 2018.
And how long must it stay in it?
So this one will stay here for 4 to 6 years, depending on the choice of the enologist. This one is a very special type of ruby port wine, a red fruity wine that I'll speak later. 650 liters, and they are all put on top of each other today. In the past, they would be placed individually in the cellar, as there wouldn't be any machinery that could put them on top of each other. And mention, this one has 17,000 liters, this one 73,000 liters. So now we are going to continue up this tunnel that was once a street called Canaviais. You can see that no longer we have the wooden flooring, but the original stone flooring of the street instead.
What was the name?
Canaviais.
Canadian.
Canaviais. Yes, it was the name of the street we are now walking. And on the walls you can see several posters used as the advertisement or publicity for the company. You can identify a Rebelo boat. So the Rebelo boat that you can see was used until the 60s for the bringing of the port wines from the Duoro Valley region to Vila Nova de Gaia. But with the development of technology, the road system and train system of Portugal, the wine started being brought either by train in the past and today in trucks that are sealed. And so the journey that would take about 3 weeks takes. blend of various harvests from various years. And I'll use the 20-year-old Tawny as the example. So here we have 43 casks with 27,000 liters of a basis of our Duque Bragança. That's the name we give to the 20-year-old Tawny in the cellars. So with this basis, we'll start to compose a 20-year-old Tawny. And this is by adding it 10, 20, 30, and 40-year-old harvests that when combined will have an average age of 20 years. And so, roughly, this is how all port wines are produced, an exception of the dated ones. This is a port that is only produced 2 to 3 times per decade, with the best grapes from the best years only. Once a great harvest is identified by the enology, it will be produced as all other ports, and as it is a red, the ruby is brought to Villanova Gaia and will age or be stored in an vat like this for 2 years only. It is the exception to the 3-year-old rule. During those 2 years, it will be monitored by our enology, and at the end, it will be sent to the Duoro and Port Wine Institute to be evaluated, for them to make sure that the wine is really vintage worthy. And so, at the Institute, the wine will be submitted to a final evaluation that takes the form of a blind tasting made by 7 enologists. And if at the end of that blind tasting, the 7 enologists come to the unanimous decision that the wine they are tasting is in fact vintage, then the wine in specific can be declared as vintage by the company who has submitted it for evaluation. And only through that can a vintage be declared. This is a process regulated by law. Yeah, normally you need to invite all of your friends to open a late bottle vintage or vintage bottle. Now, in terms of the late bottle vintage, you have 2 weeks at least, but if you pump the air out, you have up to 1 month to drink it. The vintage, it is more sensible, so we would advise you to drink it in the next 2 days. It has been opened, but. So now we are headed for the last, and some say the most fun part of the visit, that is the tasting. It is held on that building that was once also part of the storage facility, but that has, with time, been transformed into a tasting room. So feel free this to honey. And normally we like to serve it chilled between 6 to 10 degrees Celsius as either an aperitif with some cheese, with some salted or even caramelized dried fruits or some salty eggs for a meal. Or you can also serve it after a meal as a dessert wine with some fresh fruits, sweet desserts like caramelized tarts. But in the summertime, this goes well as some notes. This is a wine that has a long finish in which the flavors will develop, as well as it is very good when you serve it by itself as an aperitif or a digestive, either with a dessert wine such as apple, almond, or the tarts like sweet desserts, caramelized sweets, or even egg-based desserts like our wonderful Počta. Do you know? Yes.